Hey Alexa, create a playlist called Cigars and add this song to it.
This feature is not yet supported for Spotify. I didn't catch the other thing you said.
Alexa, create a playlist called Cigars.
Sorry, creating playlists is currently not supported on Spotify.
All right, let's get into this code. First things first, why don't we start with a demonstration? Show what we can do here. So I do currently have one of my favorite songs playing, I Don't Like by Chief Keef. So we'll get this up and running.
Hello, I'm your Spotify voice assistant. How can I help you today?
Create me a new playlist called Chief Keef.
I've created a new playlist called Chief Key for you. You can view it here at this link.
All right. So as you can see, it did create a new playlist. It's blank for now, but this is still more than Alexa can do. So why don't we get into this code here? I'll show you, what it does, how it came to be, and all that. First things first, I recommend checking out the API documentation from Spotify. It's great, very thorough. Has a lot of functionality, so you can do things relating to users, specific tracks, playlists, make a playlist, edit a playlist, things with audiobooks, getting the current song, stuff like that. All right, so let's get into it. First things first, let's see, setting up the Spotify API, OpenAI API, pretty basic stuff. For the speech recognition, text-to-speech functions, it's really nothing crazy. I'm using the speech recognition library as well as the PyTTSX3. Nothing crazy again. I will just open source all this code. I'll include the link to the GitHub in the comments or something like that. So if you want to check it out, it's available for you to use, edit it. Feel free to do whatever you want. But yeah, it'll all be available. So it'll set up the speech engine, it'll be able to listen, it speaks and whatnot. Then Spotify authentication functions, I'm not going to get into this, but this is just, authenticating your Spotify API, nothing crazy here. So I'll just skip over this part as well. All right, so Spotify tools and interactions. Let me just bring up this very basic slide I made about how AI agents really work. So people know LLMs as next word generators, where they can just predict the next word, and that's really what they're made for. However, what people don't realize is you can actually give these LLMs the ability to use tools. So how it works is for this specific Spotify AI agent, I'm just running it off of GPT-4 Turbo. You can probably do it off Forum Mini too, I'm sure. And I'm over here, I'm the user, and I've created some tools for the agent to use. So these tools include finding songs, creating playlists, adding songs to the playlist, basic stuff. You can add in essentially unlimited number of tools, although if you add in too many, it can get confusing. I believe the ideal number is somewhere between 5 and 10, but that's for a different video. But anyway, so how it works is I'll give the agent, the LLM, a query such as create a playlist or add a song to a playlist or tell me what song is currently playing. And then based on the query I ask, the LLM then picks one of the tools, depending on which one it deems necessary for the current query. Although it can use multiple tools for one query. So if I say create a playlist and add the currently playing song to a playlist, it can do that because it can go kind of one step at a time. So the first step will be create a playlist, then find the current song playing, and then add that song to the playlist. So it can do that as well. And also, there is allowed variability in terms of what it can actually do. So when I said in the demonstration just now, create a playlist called Chief Keef, it's able to create a playlist based on any name that I request. So, it's not. It's determined by the user, based on the query. I could say create a playlist called, summertime songs, something like that, and it's able to identify what I want the playlist to be named, and then create that playlist to that name. So Spotify tools here, getting the user profile, that's not really that interesting. Creating playlists, this is something that I did in the demonstration. You just need the access token from the authentication part, as well as the playlist name. If I wanted to ask the agent to set the description of that playlist, it can do that. I just left it blank for now. But let me get into the part that's a little more interesting, a little more important. So here, this is where you define the tools that the agent has, and in each tool, you'll add in the description. So this is how you would tell the agent when to use each tool, why it matters. If you don't give it a description, it's going to have a hard time of knowing which tool do I use at, which specific, or for, specific queries. So for the create playlist tool, the description is still very basic. Create a new Spotify playlist with a specified name. So now the agent will have an idea of when should I use this tool. And then in the parameters and in the properties, one of the properties will be the playlist name. And then you'll tell it this is the new name for the playlist. Same thing for the description, but again, I didn't do anything with that. For something like finding a playlist, so if I said, add this current song to my summer playlist, what it will have to do is find every single playlist in my library to identify the one that I want to add the song to. So for that tool right here, the description is just find a playlist by name in the user's library. So this is how you tell, or this is how you describe to the agent what each tool is really for. And then these are kind of the tool functions here, or well, I guess those are mostly here, right? So the create playlist function, this is the tool that it can use, and these tools can and are in this case APIs. This is the Spotify API right here. This is its endpoint. So this is how the agent is able to interact with the specific Spotify APIs, is through these tool functions. I guess this is kind of important to touch up on too, is so you do include a system prompt, or well, I guess you don't have to include it, but I am including it. I'm telling the agent to be a helpful assistant with access to Spotify. I'm telling it what it can do. And then here, this is just the response from the API call. It determines if the message does need a tool or not. Sometimes it won't, if I was just asking some completely unrelated question. And then for each response too, you do want to include multiple API calls in case in case the query requires multiple tools to complete the task. So when I said, or if I say create a playlist and add the currently playing song to it, that will require not two, but actually three tools. Firstly will be create a playlist. Number two will be find the currently playing song. And then number three will be add a song to a playlist. And so you can use one tool per call. So right now I just have it have 3 calls at most, but you can have essentially unlimited calls. It really just comes down to how complex, what's the maximum complexity your query will be. So yeah, that's how that works. Basic cleaning up the text function. So when the agent speaks back to you, it doesn't include any commas or asterisks that the GPT API often does include. What else? I guess that's pretty much it. Again, I'll be putting all this code on GitHub, so if you're interested in using it, feel free to use it as much as you want. If you have any questions, you can add a comment below or reach out to me on LinkedIn or anything. But yeah, I was happy to make this. It really wasn't too difficult. I did utilize Claude 3.7 Sonnet. That was a huge help in developing all of this. So if you're interested in making some AI agent for, it doesn't have to be Spotify, but for something else, I definitely recommend utilizing Claude, especially if you're not incredibly technical.
Hello, I'm your Spotify voice assistant. How can I help you today?
Add the currently playing song to my Cigars playlist.
I've added Wild Horses 2009 mix by the Rolling Stones to your Cigars playlist. Enjoy the music.